So just imagine, this is us on our mobile device or our iPad or tablet. We're like this. See how fast my thumb's going? That's pretty much how we view social media. And so in order to have a picture or video that is gripping, you have to make it not just colorful, but it has to be attractive. And so, you want your followers to stop, not to keep going like this, but to stop on that particular image. So one of the things that I always look for is color. Are my pictures colorful? The subject that I'm taking, the scene, or if it's food or whatever it is, it just has to be colorful, lots of color. In terms of video, it has to be action oriented. It just can't be a tilt up or a pan over. It has to be, there's got to be some good sound in it. It needs to be dramatic. Again, it's all about visuals. It's all about audio. One of the things about what makes Instagram very popular today, especially amongst the young folk, is just the ability to take good pictures. And there is no excuse in today's world to take a bad picture. Why? Because every iPhone, every Samsung Galaxy, most of your smartphones have incredible pixels on these cameras, and so you can take a very, very good picture. The key is composition. How do you compose a picture? How do you tell? In essence, when you snap a picture, take a video, you're telling a story. So you have to look at it as a way of telling. It's an extension. The still picture, the video is an extension of a story. So how do you tell it? And the best way is to compose the shot, compose the picture, compose the video, and just make sure that it looks good, it's aesthetically good, it's pleasing to the eye. So pay attention to composition, how you take a picture, how you arrange. For example, if you love food, if you love clothes, if you love cars, whatever it is, compose. For example, if it's fruits or food, compose it in such a way that makes the picture attractive, that there's colors and the composition is just beautiful. In the television business, we have something called teasers. They typically last between 5 to 7, maybe 15 seconds. It basically is telling our viewers, hey, stay tuned. We've got a gripping story ahead. We use a powerful soundbite or dramatic visuals to say, listen, we've got this exciting story coming up. Don't go away. Right behind this 2-minute break, we'll be back with the story. Well, think of a tease. Translate that into social media using a picture, one single photo or 5 seconds of video uploaded to Twitter or Vimeo. That is the best footage, that's the best clip or picture that will help your viewers come back to your social media platform, whether it's Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram. You can use that moment, capture that moment to be able to tell a story. And in today's day and age, you're not necessarily waiting for your 6 o'clock news or your noon news or your 10 p.m. news. It's happening every day. By the second, news is changing, the events are changing. So you can use Facebook, you can use Instagram, Twitter as a way to keep your viewers coming back to your platform so they continue to follow you, they continue to trust you for the kinds of stories or things that you are an expert in. Sure. So I'll show you an example of a recent trip that I took to South Sudan to cover the ongoing conflict there. Here I've got some pictures that are in black and white. I decided to use black and white because the South Sudanese people are absolutely striking, very beautiful people. The men are so tall, the women are absolutely stunning. And so I decided to use black and white pictures in order to tell that story, and it really, in my opinion, helped really bring the story to light and to showcase the agony of human suffering that the South Sudanese people are enduring after decades of war. Again, composition is critical. So much of this, I'm a novice at this, but I just love to take pictures, and I do a lot of experimentation in the field in terms of what looks good. I'm constantly, my clicker is on rapid speed, so it's taking multiple shots in a second. Again, it's a way you just trial and error. You go out in the field, you take different pictures, you get people to smile. It's for me, like for example, here's this guy, just very natural. I like to get people in their natural setting to bring out aspects of their culture, of their personality, to reach them and be able to, like, for example, here's this lady who really is not smiling, but it tells a lot. Her image communicates a lot. When you're in the field, try experimenting with different lenses, whether it's a wide angle, a 50 millimeter or a 72 to 200. Try different things. You know, in this particular scene, I wanted to get the vast expanse of downtown Juba, which is the capital city of South Sudan. So we were on top of this roof, 7-story building, doing stand-ups, and the clouds were just beautiful. And so I got my assistant to take a still picture using a wide angle, which really just helps to, again, you know, you're trying to show nature. In this case, you know, despite all the challenges, all the war, the devastation, it's still a very, very beautiful country. Again, I thought using black and white in this particular series of stories was really, I think, gripping, because the South Sudanese people, like I said, are very beautiful people. They're very dark skin, and using the black and white technique really accentuated those beautiful features. This is in some ways one of my favorite pictures, because here are these guys who are, you know, kids. They're just dirt poor, and look at them. I mean, they are so skinny. They have no shoes. I mean, their feet are cracked. Their skin is cracked. They are, in some cases, malnourished. They're not getting enough food. But you see the contrast. You see their lack of physical aspects, whether it's clothing or shoes. But you see their faces. This could be a child in your neighborhood, a kid down the street. But they just happen to be from South Sudan, and they're in the middle of a war. One of the things about taking pictures as well as video is, you know, sometimes not everything needs to be in focus. So play with the idea of maybe one person is in focus and the entire background is out of focus. Leave some mystery to your, you know, to the pictures and the video that you upload to social media. Create some mystery, some intrigue behind the pictures that allow people to say, hey, I want to see more. What's this about? Just like in television, you use words and video, audio to tell a story. Remember, in Facebook and on Instagram and Twitter, you know, you use your video, you use your pictures. Remember to caption them. Don't just upload 20 pictures, especially if you've had the privilege, like I've over the years, to travel to so many countries. You know, you want to give people an idea of what they're seeing. So caption them. Take time to put a caption. Perhaps it's a person's quote, somebody you interviewed, and there was a particular thing he or she said about that situation. Consider using it as a quote. One of the things I love to do in Facebook is from the first picture you click on to the last, I'm going to tell you a story, not just through the pictures, but also through the words. So remember to caption your pictures and use those pictures, use those words to also tell a story, to add, to supplement, or in some ways to complement the picture. That way, by the time the person finishes going through your entire album, they're like, oh wow, okay, I learned something new about Indian food, or I learned something new about South Sudan, or about a particular culture, or a people group. That way you help enlarge and bring some color to the entire social media experience. One of the things I love about what I do as a reporter is I have the privilege to travel around the world, and my viewers don't. And so the way I see it is that I need to, in some ways, bring them with me. And so I use my pictures, my stories, to, for about 5 minutes on television, let them escape into this world of, for example, South Sudan, the conflict, bring them, give them the human story behind all of the conflict. And so one of the things I see from just the responses on people, from people on Facebook or on Instagram, is thank you for taking me to South Sudan. Your pictures, your video, your story, you took me there. And you not only showed me, if it's in the case of a war, you not only showed me the human suffering, the magnitude of the human suffering, but if you notice on these pictures from South Sudan, I showed people who were smiling. There were people who were suffering, sure, but I purposefully went and looked for people who you know, I told them, tell me your story. Can I take your picture at the same time? So you don't walk away thinking, oh my gosh, all of South Sudan is at war. Well, they are. There's incredible human suffering, but they're just also just normal people, people who want to have peace. They want to live in peace. They want food, but yet they can smile. You know, yet they can show you their humanity and their compassion for one another, and show, you know, welcome a visitor like myself, a foreigner, into their midst, and welcome me with open arms. And so, you know, you use those images to not just show the negative that our world is full of, that in the midst of human suffering, there are pictures and images of people who, even though they've lost everything, they, for example, they still have the ability to smile.
Okay, so you just watched a great interview with my colleague George Thomas. He gives a lot of great information and a lot of great tips. But one thing I want to point out that he briefly touched on is when it comes to posting images and video, the important thing to remember is less is more. You can post a whole album, but you have to be strategic about what you use. The main point is, if you're going to post an image, post one powerful image that's going to get people to stop. If you're going to post more, be sure that you're strategic about it, and be sure that you caption them so you're telling the story all the way through. And if you're going to post an album, be sure to use the strongest images to be featured, so when people see that album in their newsfeed, they usually see 1, 2, or 3 main images. You make sure you use the most powerful images to highlight. And when it comes to video, again, less is more. I think Instagram only allows you to post a 15-second interview or a 15-second video clip. It's the same thing on Facebook. While they allow you to do as much as you want, less, again, is a whole lot more. Generally, people don't watch past 30 seconds. You can have a longer video, but it has to be extremely compelling. So the bottom line is, when you post what's really, really strong, and post one or very, very few of them at the very most.